I just got to think of something else too when we was talking about planting the bullet. So they plant a bullet. Now they claim that Kennedy and Connolly got hit by separate bullets. Well, now they've got to come up with two more bullets. What happened to those bullets?
Well, they've got to come up with another bullet for the wounds of John Connolly.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
They've got to come up effectively for an explanation as to where is the bullet that wounded JFK. Now,
if they planted a bullet like on a stretcher, then they would have to come up with a bullet for Kennedy and then one for Connolly too, right? Because they'd have to come up with bullets for both of them.
Well, they've got one bullet on. They've got a bullet on.
So you're saying the bullet on the stretcher they planted. What I was thinking is the bullet was a plant, and then they got a bullet for Kennedy and Connolly. So correct. Now you would have to have, 3 bullets there.
Correct. If it's a plant, you've got another 2 bullets.
You've got another 2 bullets you've got to come up with. I'll have to remember to use that the next time somebody says that the bullet was planted. Do you have enough time to touch on the Knoll shot?
Yeah.
I made a post one time. I said, shooting from the Knoll, that would be taking him, in the right side of the head. So that means that bullet would have took a left turn to exit the back of his head. If the back of his head is blasted out, that's one magic bullet.
Yeah, I'd agree. If you assume that the bullet would travel to some extent in a straight line, after it impacted the right temple, it would at least have caused damage to the left hemisphere, you would have thought. Yeah. And there wasn't.
Probably would have killed Jackie.
Pardon?
Probably would have killed Jackie.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And when I got to Dealey Plaza, and I was like, where's it at? Where's Dealey Plaza? This can't be Dealey Plaza. So I'm looking at this small little area, and I'm like, there's no way they would put a sniper there. I could throw a rock and hit the car. And as I've talked to you, you're tracking a moving target. There's no way he's going to be able to track that target and get a perfect headshot.
Well, that would be my opinion as well, because the window is very short, isn't it? Because as you look down Elm Street from the Grassy Knoll picket fence, there's a wall in the way to some extent, and the freeway sign. Mm-hmm. I think I used to spend hours down there, and it's only a few seconds, and you'd be tracking left to right, wouldn't you? So yeah, it's not a very good location to choose. I think the single bullet theory is what I would call low-hanging fruit for conspiracy theorists to pick, because they just say, look, Connolly has to be hit by a second bullet. He's hit within too short a time frame for Oswald to have fired twice, therefore there were 2 shooters. So it's nice and easy in that respect, although it's not easy because it's very difficult to disprove. But the Grassy Knoll gunman is another low-hanging fruit, and it's based upon the fact that the Zapruder film seems to show Kennedy's being blasted backhand to the left. Now, if you look at the film using the digital images, the individual frames, what happens is the head is propelled forwards about 2.3 inches on impact. And
I found that.
It's very clear. You can see from a fixed point at the back of the seat of the limo, you can measure it. And you can also see that there's an area of green grass between Jackie Kennedy's head and JFK's head. And between frame 312 and 313, that space shrinks. So his head is propelled forwards on impact.
Yes, once I found that GIF, it was clear as day. His head goes about 2 inches forward, and then you see the brain matter spray outward. There's no.
Of course, all the visible bone fragments in the Zapruder film 313 frame, up and forwards. I don't think that you can see anything that is a fragment of bone blasted to the rear. And if you consider the physics, a rifle bullet doesn't have the energy to propel Kennedy's torso as well as head backwards directly as an impact of the bullet. How come Kennedy's head is blown backwards, and his torso is blown backwards, and it not be caused by a bullet. Well, the bullet has exerted damage to the central nervous system in the brain, and of course that could be stimulating the back muscles to tighten, which might cause the back into the left movement. But the bullet striking itself doesn't have the energy to propel both the upper body and the head back at the same time. So it's something else. It's not a bullet fired from the front. I mean, the Zapruder film proves that a bullet was fired from the rear at 3:13. It doesn't rule out that there was a second headshot. You can't rule that out from the Zapruder film, although it doesn't appear to be. It doesn't show any indication that there was a second headshot. But if you're a conspiracy theorist and you're going for the Grassy Knoll gunman, you absolutely have to put forward the scenario that there were two shots to the head, one from the back and one from the front. You can't have just one shot to the head and it be from the Grassy Knoll.